हरे कृष्ण माता जी। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Yashamati Priya Devi Dasi uh, from Ohio, Cincinnati, welcoming all of you to the mid-morning japa session. I thank all of you for attending this session and giving your beautiful association. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. Let us move to our next part of our let us move to our next part of the session, which is Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And before we start our session for today, may I know who all have joined this call?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada, this is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your warm welcoming, and thank you, Sunil Prabhu, for that very beautiful recitation of the 11th chapter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Priti Vilasini Devidasi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining all the time. Your services is wonderful, Mataji. Hare Krishna. And thank you, Sunil Prabhu, for beautiful recitation of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna Nito Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day and giving your beautiful association. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Shrimati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day. All glories to your services, Mataji, all the time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Janat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sunil from India.
Hare Krishna Sunil Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining every single day and giving your beautiful association, wonderful question, and thank you for doing the service, and thank you for very good, very beautiful recitation for Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce? So, Mataji, can you recording start?
Started, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa Group. Before we start today's our session, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today, December 25th. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sir, I am suffering from some disease. So without going to the doctor and saving so much money, let me pay 100 rupees to the sadhu and he will give me his blessings. Haribol. So I will save thousands of rupees for curing the disease. For this purpose, they go to sadhu. Nobody goes to sadhu for going back to home, back to Godhead. New Delhi, December 14, 1975. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, today we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Radhika Kasturi Devidasi Mataji on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat Antya Khand, chapter 4, verse number 441 to 459. So, thank you very much, Mataji. Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Mataji, for giving your very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic of our Mahaprabhu. I now hand over call to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for this opportunity. And thank you again, Bhakti Sangha, for taking your valuable time to hear Chaitanya Bhagavat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashrai Pradesha Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right. So let's get started with today's class. So before starting or going to the verses from today, what I thought was I could just recap so far what has happened and then get into set of today's verses and understand them. Hope it's all okay with you. Now we all know Preeti Vilasni Mataji, her great Preeti Vilasni Mataji spoke about Murari Gupta's episode. And after that, what happened? Suddenly, a leopard appeared in that assembly and he came before the Lord. Now, he threw himself down on the ground like a stick, groaning in pain. Then, getting up, he lifted his arms high and began to wail loudly. He said to the Lord, "O merciful Lord, you have risen like a sun on the earth, only to dissipate the sufferings of the material life. Your compassionate nature is always moved by distress of others. So now here I come to you. You know what I'm going through? I'm going through this pain of leprosy. So now I'm asking you to kindly relieve this pain that I'm going through." When the leper had finished speaking like this, Lord, he addressed him angrily in a thundering voice. He said to the leper, "You go away from here. Just seeing you, it is incurring sin. Even if a pious man sees your face, the day will bring him only wound. You're a wretched sinner and you're a Vaishnava offender. Much more suffering than what the pain that you're going through is in store for you. You cannot even tolerate this pain. How are you going to live through the sufferings in the Kumbhaka hell?" So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making that leper understand that he has committed an aparadh. He is a sinner and that he would be incurring much more sin or suffering than what he is going through. So then then it talks about Vaishnava, how pure they are, and uttering his name can cleanse the entire universe. One easily attains an inconceivable association of the Supreme Lord Krishna by simply serving Vaishnava. In fact, nothing is superior than worship to a Vaishnava. So, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam also illustrates the point that Vaishnava is more dear to Krishna than even elevated personalities like Anantasesh, Lakshmi Devi, Brahma, or Lord Shiva. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, "Oh Uddhava, my devotees are more dear to me than anyone else. Although Brahma is my son, Shiva is my partial expansion, Sankarsana my brother, Lakshmi Devi is my wife, they are not so dear as you are. What to speak of others? Even in my deity form, not so dear." So that is why, dear devotees, when it comes to Vaishnava Aparadh, we have to be really careful. So one who offends a Vaishnava or one who criticizes him, he has terrible consequences life after life. So now a person's piety, education, and austerity are going to be rendered useless if they are going to criticize a Vaishnava. Now Krishna, he refuses to even accept any kind of worship from a Vaishnava offender. Now the analogy is quoted wherein Mother Earth, she feels blessed when a Vaishnava dances on her, whose very sight it destroys sin in every direction. Who, when dancing, if he lifts his arms to the sky, waves all the infortune in the heavenly abodes. And then it is said, such an elevated devotee is Shiva's Pandit. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls this leper so demoniac that you have offended such a pure devotee of the Lord, Shiva's Pandit. Your leprosy is a reminder of your offenses. Now, this is not the actual punishment. He says the actual punishment is yet to come. It's going to be given to you by Yamaraj. Therefore, I don't even want to see you and I'm not going to deliver you. Now, this leper, he quietly heard this Lord's chastisement with utmost humility and meekness. Holding straw in his teeth, he began to speak. He prayed, in my ignorance, I have destroyed myself. I have criticized and offended a Vaishnava. For this act, I know I have to go through a painful due, as you say from Amaraj. Now, my Lord, think of my deliverance. It is the nature of saintly personalities to heal the suffering of the wretched and forgive the blasphemers like me. Therefore, now I have taken shelter of you. But if you turn me away, who is going to save me? You know the penances for the different sinful activities. So, as kind Father, please tell me what penances will condone my offenses. I know I've committed a Vaishnava aparadh, so I have to painfully go through my grief. So the Lord now replied to what the leper uh, requested for, right? Leprosy is an offender. It's just it's the first punishment. It's only the beginning. As I told you, worst is yet to come. Yamaraj, he has 80 lakhs, 40,000 type of excruciating punishments that he would give for offenders. You should go to Shiva's Pandit right away, right now, and submit yourself to his feet. It was Shiva's Pandit you offended. So you can be excused only by his mercy. So if a thorn is stuck in a throat, it has to be pulled out by another thorn. Not that when a thorn gets stuck in the feet and shoulders if it's stuck on the feet, do you treat the shoulders? No, right? So this is the means by which you can come out of it. And Shiva's Pandit, as you all know, he's very elevated and intelligent. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying to this leper, he's very intelligent, he is very elevated. So if you beg him, then surely maybe he'll forgive you. The devotees all expressed their loud approval of the Lord's perfect and honest instructions. The leper paid obeisances to the Lord and the devotees, and he hurried off to fulfill Lord's instructions by going to see Shiva's Pandit. Now Shiva's Pandit, out of his causeless mercy, he forgave him of all the offenses and he saved him from the worst fate that was yet to come. The Lord, through this pastime, he has obviously helped us understand what some of the results are of offending in Vaishnava. Now, in spite of hearing this, right? If a person is so foolish to indulge in the blasphemy of a Vaishnava or criticism of a Vaishnava, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will personally give undue punishments to those people. It's also mentioned, if one sees two Vaishnavas quarreling, then one should never think there is enmity or malice between them. Such quarreling is in fact pleasing to the Lord and it's transcendental. Now, the word transcendental, I don't think I can understand. It's above, mind. Because after time was created, mind, intelligence, senses, and everything was created. And Lord is there, Anadi. How can I understand the Lord with the time bound senses and mind and everything, right? Now, it's also mentioned the arguments and the abuses that are exchanged between Rukmini Devi, Satyabhama, although they may sound to a novice person, it is a serious fight, it's not actually. Because they are always together, united in the common service of serving the Lord. There's no enmity between the Vaishnavas. So Supreme Lord, he himself induces these fights due to his nature. But if anyone foolishly sides with one Vaishnava against the other, he is again offending a Vaishnava. The Vaishnavas are extension of Lord's limbs. So how can one benefit by serving him with one hand and inflicting pain on him with another? So all we have to do is understand the Lord, understand his devotees, understand that Vaishnavas are the limbs of the Lord and they are non-different. And with this knowledge, if you serve the Lord, then we can easily cross this ocean of material existence. And one who glorifies, hears, and understands these transcendental subject matters, they can obviously avoid Vaishnava Parad. Now, dear devotees, one of the important things that is being spoken about is the concept of hearing. When we serve the Lord, it is through the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. At this point, we are hearing Krishna Katha, we are hearing Caitanya Bhagavat. Here, hearing, one who glorifies, hears, and understands this transcendental subject matter can avoid Vaishnava Aparadha. Now, how does this message of hearing gets to us? So, Sanatan Goswami, we'll go to Srimad Bhagavatam, talk an episode, and then move on to another set of verses that we've already spoken. So, Sanatan Goswami, he extracts a very important and significant understanding from the prayers of Kaliya. So, in order to chant the glories of the holy names of the Lord, what one has to do? One has to hear submissively. We all know Kaliya, he was in a very critical condition. From 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We all know Kaliya was in a critical condition. Why? Because he was severely punished by Krishna. To the extent his curls were all crushed and vomit pouring from his mouth in the form of poison. He was really blinded on the verge of death. We all know he was helpless. There was nothing he could do to protect himself. Right? So first of all, again like the leper, he was going through physical pain. He had to live through that torture. And then the leper was also going through mental pain, like that Kaliya was also going through unbearable mental pain. So, in conditioned life, it is most important condition. If you look at the conditioned life, it's very important. It is an important consideration. Kaliya is a man. And Kalia had to exhibit his prowess before his wife or wives rather than women. That is the general conditioning we all have, right? If you're a man, you have to prove you're a man, right? And here, Kalia, before all his wives, how was he? He was humiliated. He was defeated by a very small boy. Imagine, Krishna was a very small boy then, right? What type of mental torture it was for him. Of course, if Krishna, he appeared in a Virat Roop format, in a very, very large form, and devastated Kalia, it would not have been an embarrassment. A little child. You know, Kalia is the king of serpents with thousands of hoods. He was so large, he was so immense in size. And of course, he was practically covering the entire sky and he was unbeatable, undefeatable. So much poison, so much fire that he could emit from his mouth that it feared everyone around him. When somebody has such kind of power, imagine their ego, dear devotees. So he could show off to his wives in this way. That's how he's been living his life. And now here comes a very small cowherd boy who appeared just like a child. At this time, of course, Krishna has not even reached his teens. He was a very small boy. Now Kalia was defeated by Krishna and destroyed just on the verge of death, in fact. Now, so from this gross material body and subtle mental, subtle body, Kali was humiliated and destroyed. And through this process, by the mercy of Krishna, he actually became humble. And in the humble state of mind, he heard his wife's offer prayers. Very important point, dear devotees. I'm going to come to the crux of this point. Now, what happened? Through the mercy of Krishna, he became very humble, and in that humble state of mind, he started to hear the prayers of his wives. They were offering beautiful prayers to the Lord in his glorification. Even though they were explaining the situation of their husband, how he is in a serpent body, and the serpent to be born in that body has that conditioned nature which is full of envy, ignorance, and anger. And he has killed, obviously, so many innocent people. But Lord, just see, by your costly grace, you have defeated him. And you have vanquished all the false pride on him. Now, look at him. Kali is ready to surrender to you. So, in this condition, please be merciful to him. They are praying. Please be kind to him. Those lotus feet that Brahma and Shiva, who they are aspiring birth after birth, you kindly danced on the lotus. I mean, your lotus feet danced on the heads of this Kaliya, purifying him of all unwanted desires of his. And all his ego also was crushed. Now, Kaliya, upon hearing in this humble state of mind, he was able to understand and realize the words of his wives. Imagine. So, without that humble state of mind, if we were to listen, nothing gets into our heart. That's the point. Obviously, his wives were great devotees. And of course, as a wife, they would have preached to their husband so many times, right? Do this, do this. We always keep preaching a lot at home too. I do that all the time. But now, here, because of his big ego, thinking he was great and important person, he never heard what even they said. He never understood, okay, this is what this never, because he never had any realization before. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprakšnena seveya. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. Uh, unless we hear submissively in a humble state of mind, we can never understand the truth. I mean, if I can say, I can go to many key sessions, attend so many lectures which describe Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam philosophy. I could do memorize a lot of slokas, lot, here and there, enjoy the leelas. But in order to understand, in order to assimilate, in order to know what the significance of meaning of the Shastras is, one must hear submissively. There is no other way. Now, let's talk about an analogy here. Just like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna didn't even bother speaking to Arjuna as long as he thought he knew anything about the goal of life or right thing to do, isn't it? As long as Arjuna had the slightest bit of pride in him, thinking, I know quite well, then Krishna would have thought, why should I waste my time speaking to him? He's not going to hear. There is a difference, right? Our Maharajas talk about differences wherein there is a difference between hearing and listening. Listening means I just take interest, and hearing means to hear submissively. To submissively allow the sound vibrations so it can penetrate the heart and then it can guide one's life. Now we also look at Arjuna and we say, yeah, Arjuna was in the same condition of Kaliya. How was he? He was weak, right? There was tears flowing down from his eyes. He was pale. His mouth was dry. He could not even hold a Gandhiva bow. It fell from his hands. What was the difference between Arjuna and Kaliya? Krishna, in his divine transcendental form of Govinda, he danced upon the heads of Kaliya. But in another way, Krishna danced upon the mind and ego of Arjuna and brought him to the same condition of total weakness, total helplessness, not knowing what I should do. And of course, he was on the verge of death, both of them. And in that state, Arjuna, he folded his hands and he prayed to Krishna. Karvanyadoshopahat swabhava prishchami tvam dharma sammudasheta ekshriyatat nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. He was very submissive. And then Krishna said, I will speak now. Now you are qualified to hear Gita. And imagine, this is the same exact condition Kaliya was going through. He was in a helpless condition that he began to very, very submissively hear the words of his wives, his Nagapatnis. And they were praying to the Lord. He realized his only hope of living through this crisis was the words of his wives. If they somehow or the other appeal to Lord Krishna, appeal to the heart of Lord Krishna, he would be saved. Otherwise, how could he offer a prayer? What could he do? He didn't even know how to pray. He was an ignorant, envious person. The leper also mentioned he was an ignorant person. I didn't know. Now, same condition, Kaliya, he didn't know what to say or what to do. He was helpless. But in that condition of submissiveness, he was thankful to his wives that you say, you're my only hope because you're Lord's devotees. If you appeal on my behalf, even a sinful demon like me can be spared. He understood. That is the condition of all of us. However pious we may think we are all in sinful condition of life. And our prayers to the Lord, they are all offered with so much ignorance, so much envy, so much greed. But the prayers of great devotees, they never go in vain. Unless great devotees of the Lord appeal to me on my behalf, I have no chance. This is the humility of a Vaishnava. That is why, dear devotees, even when we offer bhoga to the Lord, we understand why he should accept my offering, right? I'm a sinful person. I'm full of ignorance. I'm full of pride. And somehow or the other, if my spiritual master, who is the real devotee of my Lord, if he offers on my behalf, then Krishna will certainly accept. There is no doubt about it. That is the mood with which a Vaishnava offers bhoga to Krishna. So, if what everything a devotee does is all through the grace of great Vaishnavas. that only Krishna will take. If Guru Maharaj offers, then he will take. Kalia understood this. I have committed so many offenses, but my wives, Nagapatnis, they're all pure-hearted, gentle devotees of the Lord. If they pray on my behalf, Krishna will spare me. And here also in this case, Shiva's Pandit had to forgive. Like he had to forgive him. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. So here also in this case, Nagapatnis had to say, oh, please Krishna, spare him. And therefore, what did Kalia do? He heard with great attention, he was hearing the words of Nagapatnis. And upon hearing the words of Nagapatnis, Krishna jumped off the heads of Kalia and spared his life. Although, of course, Kalia was in a very unconscious state. And then he began to offer his prayers. Sanatan Goswami here explains, he's simply repeating, what his prayers are all about. He's repeating whatever his wives have already spoken in their own words. Because he heard submissively from Nagapatnis, great devotees of the Lord, in a submissive state, he heard them. And now he's able to repeat what he has heard with realization and understanding himself. This is the qualification, this is submissively hearing from your spiritual master. That is the only qualification. I thought this is very important. Even in Srila Prabhupada's case, he was asked, Srila Prabhupada, he would always say, I have submissively heard from my spiritual master and I am repeating whatever my spiritual master has said. That is my only qualification. And one time when Prabhupada was asked, Swamiji, are you perfect? He said, I may not be perfect, but because I have submissively heard from my Guru Maharaj, I am repeating whatever I have heard. And everything I say is perfect, that's because I'm repeating it. And you all know, when Srila Prabhupada met his Gurudev, he was pretty sure that his Gurudev was not speaking anything practical. He told Srila Prabhupada, you have to go and preach this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world in English. And then Prabhupada thought to himself, see, India is in such a political chaos, and let's first get independence. Let's first go follow Gandhi's movement and then push this to the end. After we free ourselves from foreign powers, then we can have speak about all these luxurious philosophical religious ideas. Now, what did Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura do? He danced. Krishna danced upon Srila Prabhupada's head with his strong arguments and completely humbled him. And Srila Prabhupada always feels, oh, Guru Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, he defeated me. I'm so glad I'm defeated by my Guru Maharaj. And after he was defeated by his Guru Maharaj, he felt he was listening with great submissiveness. And then he was able to understand and could speak the truth. So, when it comes to Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrit, Chaitanya Bhagavat, everything is talking about these wonderful pastimes, but it's giving us so much instruction that we have to hear, take it to our heart. I thought this was one of the powerful instructions that can be put submissively here. So now we have Kalia. He submissively heard from his wives. He surrendered to Krishna upon hearing their words and he repeated. So this is the only qualification that is necessary for any of us. When it comes to chanting, are we hearing hearing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How many times are we hearing it with submissiveness? I'm listening to a class. Am I doing submissive hearing? Just introspectively see how much is there for me to improve. This is all instruction for me first before it comes to you, dear devotees. I don't have any qualification to even talk about submissive hearing because I'm not there yet. But I would love to, like anybody else. That's my prayer. Now, the Lord, coming back to the story from Caitanya Bhagavat, so the Lord remained a few more days in Shantipur and he enjoyed his stay in Advaita Acharya's house. Now, soon it was time and it was an auspicious occasion of Srila Madhavendra Puri's appearance day. So we will go through the verses from today and understand them, okay? But before that, I'll give you a gist. Again, if you look at Madhavendra Puri and Advaita Acharya, there's no difference between both of them. But Advaita Acharya considered himself to be Madhavendra Puri's disciple. It is certain that Lord Gaurasundara is eternally present in Madhavendra Puri's body. His devotion to the Supreme Lord is unparalleled. By Lord Krishna's grace, all the transcendental potencies were fully manifest in Madhavendra Puri. Now, we all have to understand how Advaita Acharya became the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So it's said, before the advent of Sri Chaitanya in the world, the entire planet, we all know, they were bereft of devotional feelings towards the Supreme Lord. Srila Madhavendra Puri, by the special mercy of Chaitanya, he was obviously, all the time experiencing devotional ecstasy. All ecstatic symptom would manifest upon him. He was totally saturated in meditating on the Supreme Lord and he was not even aware of what he was doing. While walking on the streets, suddenly he would start to dance very gracefully and chant the holy names of the Lord. Sometimes, due to this intense feeling of devotion, what would happen to him? He will go into spiritual coma that would last for several hours. And at times where he feels the intense separation from the Lord, he would start crying and there would be torrents of tears that would come like gushing, like a river Ganga gushing. Then there were instances where he would break out in loud peals of laughter, intoxicated by the love of Godhead. He would become even unaware that he had lost the clothes that he had it on. Now, in this way, Srila Madhavendra Puri, he spent his life or days happily relishing in being in relationship with Lord Krishna. Only the absence of devotion amongst the general population disturbed him and made him morose. He gave so much thought how to alleviate the suffering of the people. Now, after that, he came to a conclusion that yes, Krishna must appear. Society had no understanding, okay, we should celebrate some festivals of Krishna, hold some kirtans to glorify Krishna. So, of course, those days people had this understanding that they had to do demigod worship. The only gods they knew were Shashti, Vishahari, and they worshipped these demigods with much of fanfare and ostentation. Many people desired to increase their wealth and dynasty. So they worshipped ghosts with offerings of animal flesh and wine. So in this way, people were completely in the mode of ignorance. And they were deluded by Lord Krishna's Maya. So they had no concept of who Vaishnava is or what Krishna Kirtan is and why devotees dance, why they weep, or why they are in ecstasy. All that is not understood by them. When they weep in ecstasy during Kirtan, those things were not understood by common men. Obviously, when devotees see this, they are pained by godlessness of the people. Yet, Madhavendra Puri could not express this to anyone. He was sympathetic, but he couldn't talk about this to anyone. So he gave up further attempts to talk to anyone. He had no place to turn to discuss about Lord Krishna's pastimes. He had no company or like-minded association so as to speak. And in that condition, seeing the negative conditions this world had to offer, he wanted to seclude himself and he decided to live away from the society in the forest. Madhavendra Puri, said to himself, why am I roaming amongst people searching for Vaishnava? How can I meet? I mean, I'm going through this forest and there at least I will not have to associate with a non-devotee. Otherwise, if I see common men in the city, they don't have any understanding of who God is. I'm not comfortable being there. Let me go to the forest and at least there I'm not going to see any non-devotee. Like that, he wanted to withdraw himself from society. And of course, he had this desire that he wanted to have a like-minded association, talk to somebody about Krishna, relish Krishna Katha. This was in his heart of hearts. He had this desire. Of course, whenever a pure devotee desires deeply from within, what will Krishna do? He will sanction. That's why he sanctioned. He sanctioned what? He made this divine arrangement with Advaita Acharya. It just happened. And Advaita Acharya, he was also afflicted for the same reason. He also felt despondent seeing how people were living an empty, meaningful life without devotion to Lord. So Advaita Acharya used to talk about Gita, Bhagavatam, always stress the importance of devotional service, which was done by him from heart of hearts. So now, when Madhavendra Puri came to Advaita Acharya's house, it was wonderful meeting of two elevated Vaishnavas. So when Advaita Acharya saw Srila Madhavendra Puri, he obviously, pure devotee knows a pure devotee, right? Only one who has knows what the other person. I mean, uh, if you're rich, you will know, identify another rich man. But with bhakti, only a pure devotee can recognize another pure devotee. Like that, Advaita Acharya, he could see all signs of saintliness in Madhavendra Puri. And he immediately fell to the ground offering him obeisances. Madhavendra Puri, he picked up Advaita Acharya, embraced him warmly, and then tears started drenching because of spiritual ecstasy. They sat down and what are they going to discuss? They are going to discuss the unlimited pastimes of the Lord. And they forgot about themselves. Everything they were talking about was about Sri Krishna. The element of time doesn't come into picture when two pure devotees talk. Why? Because it's 24/7 bhakti that they do. They don't even waste a moment without thinking about Krishna. Such are pure devotees of the Lord. And now, Srila Madhavendra Puri, he was an elevated devotee of the Lord, lover of Krishna, and he became unconscious due to this uncontrollable spiritual agitation. Hearing just Krishna's name brings him ecstasy. And roaring loudly, he would just manifest various symptoms of divine love. He was very, very elevated devotee. Advaita Acharya could see all these Vaishnava qualities in Srila Madhavendra Puri, and he was very extremely pleased to meet him. And he wanted to hear spiritual instructions from him. And now comes the pastime, dear devotees, of how Advaita Acharya, since the meeting of Madhavendra Puri, he always wanted to celebrate the appearance day of Srila Madhavendra Puri. That is where today's set of verses come into play. and we can discuss them now. So from Caitanya Bhagavat, we will be discussing today's set of verses, and the verses for today, let me pull them up. We can go through the English translation as well. Madhava Purira Aradhanarati Vashe Sarvashva Nikshepa Kore Advaita Harishe. Since then, Advaita joyfully celebrated Madhavendra Puri's appearance day every year. So this is verse 441. Daivishe punyatiti asiya milila santoshe advaita sajja korite lagila. By divine arrangement, that auspicious day arrived, and Advaita happily began to make arrangements for this occasion. Sajja means arrangements or preparations. Daivi se punyatiti, that punyatiti has come. Asiya milila santoshe advaita sajja khori te lagila. Advaita was santosh, he was so happy to make sajja, make arrangements for this occasion. What occasion are we talking about? We are talking about the occasion of Madhavendra Puri's appearance day. Okay, now the next verse, 443. Shri Gaura Sundara Saba Parishada Sane Pada Sukhi Hai Lena Sei Punya Dine. Gaura Sundara and his associates all felt happiness on this auspicious day. Gaura Sundara Saba Parishada Sane Bhada Sukhi Hai Lena Sei Punya Dine. This Punya Dina, during that time, all the associates of Gaura Sundara Sabha, everybody and his associates, Parisha, all the associates of Gaura Sundara, they all felt happy on this Punya Dine, on this auspicious day. Now, 444. Sei titi puji bare acharya gosai jata sajja kori lena thara antanai. There was no end. We say, okay, we have this festival. I need to make this arrangements and be done with it, right? But there is no end. There was no end to the arrangements that was made by our Acharya, Advaita Acharya, to celebrate this occasion. It was going on and on and on and on. That is the point. Imagine how ecstatic Acharya, Advaita Acharya would have been to celebrate this occasion of appearance of Madhavendra Puri. It is coming from his heart. That's why time was no bound. It was just extending. There's no end to it. Okay. नानादिका हाइते सज्जा लगीला आसीते हेना नहीं जानी के अन्य कोने भी थे. Ingredients flowed in from all directions. No one knows who brought them or where they came from. My God, the ingredients, where are they coming from? Who's bringing them? Who's taking care of everything that needs to be placed at certain manner? Nothing was known. And where they came from was also known. Everything flowed from different directions, it seems. All directions, something came, all the ingredients necessary for the arrangements came through. Madhavendra Puri Prati Priti Sabakhara Sebe Lai Lena Yata Yogya Adhikara. Since everyone had love for Madhavendra Puri, they all accepted appropriate responsibilities. If you have love for something, you'll never say no to it, right? I mean, even for things, I'm sort of person who says yes for everything, in spite of the fact if I like it or not like it. I have to learn to say no. But I'm saying in this case, because everyone had so much, when you have love for something, you'll accept it without any hesitation. But, when it comes to others, if you don't like it, maybe there is a hesitation, but you still have to accept it because that's my responsibility, sort of, in a material environment, right? Anyways, that's the point. Everybody had some sort of responsibility or the other, and they all, because of their love for Madhavendra Puri, they accepted all the responsibilities or appropriate, whatever they are probably good at, they took that responsibility. Aila, आई लाई लेना जाता रांदा नेरा भारा आई वेदी सर्व वैष्णवेरा परिभारा. So here, Mother Sachi, she took the responsibility of what? Cooking. And the wives of the Vaishnavas, they all agreed to help her. So this is the point. I mean, we have to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, okay? Doesn't have to be, I have to get a high position every time. If you're a humble servant, serving somebody in a high position, or even if you are in a very menial position, you have to accept that position with grace, because all we are doing at the end of the day is serve the Lordships. He'll be pleased. I mean, our ego should be crushed, our pride should be crushed, our feeling of, oh, I'm important should be crushed. And if you have that, Lord will somehow or the other make arrangements for us to be free from these. So that's why when an opportunity comes where you are in a very menial position, let's accept it with grace. Let's break our ego if it's there, or let's break our pride if it's there. Anything, whenever it comes to service, we have to accept it with all love, because that's an opportunity for purification. That's an opportunity to reform that Lord has given us. So we have to make the best use of what we have and serve the Vaishnavas in a very humble way. Okay, and this is what our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy teaches. We are servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Imagine, we always think I'm important like Kalia, but that pride has to be crushed. Okay, through these pastimes, that's why we have to humbly hear. So we also, from the best of all efforts, try to reform or try to change, try to introspect, and uh, come closer to Krishna or our Guru Maharaj every day. Aayi laayi lena jata that's what we saw now. Okay, the next verse is 448. Nityananda Prabhu Vara Santosha Para Vaishnava Pujite Lai Lena Adhikara. How about Nityananda Prabhu? He was unlimitedly happy. He took the responsibility of worshiping the Vaishnavas. Nityananda Prabhu Vara Santosha Para. It's very santosh, unlimitedly happy. Vaishnava Pujite Lai Lena Adhikara. What adhikar did he take, or what responsibility did he take? He took the responsibility of Vaishnava Pujite. So Vaishnava, serving the, worshipping the Vaishnavas. Next, 449, dear devotees. Kaha bale ami saba gashi pachantan, keha bale mala ami kuri pagrantan. Someone said, I'm going to grind the sandalwood paste is required. Another said, I will make garlands. Like that, each one took responsibility. Keha bale jalani bari mora bhara, keha bale mora dayasthana upaskara. Someone else said, I'm going to bring water. And then another person said, my duty will be to clean this place. Like this. We saw that, right? Each one took responsibility. Now, 451. Keha bale muni jata Vaishnavacharan, Mura bhara sakala koripa prakshalan. Somebody said, my responsibility is to wash the feet of all Vaishnavas. Wow. Keha bale muni jata Vaishnavacharan, Mura bhara sakala koripa prakshalan. My charan of the Vaishnavas, I have to wash, and that is my responsibility. That's what someone said. Next, 452. Keha bande pataka chandoya keha thane, keha bandara dravya deya keha ane. What else somebody did? Someone prepared flags, someone put the canopy, someone brought the ingredients to the storeroom, and someone distributed them. Right? And then what all happened? खोता जाने लगीला कोरीते संकीर्तन आनंदे करीना नृत्य आरकाथ जन. Some devotees, they all began kirtan, and some people, they all danced in ecstasy. This is what happened. Arakata jana hari bhala ye kirtan Sanka Ghanta Bhajayena Arokota Jhane. Some of the devotees, what they did, they all chanted the names of Hari in the Kirtan. While somebody else, what they did, they blew conch shells. And somebody else, they rang bells. So there was people chanting Hari, Hari Balai Kirtan. Shankha Ghanta Bajayena Aro Kota Jhane. Some people they did Kirtan and some others they blew conch shell and some people Kota Jhane. They also rang bells. Like this, each one took responsibility. Now 455. Kota Jana Kare Titi Puji Bara Kharya Kehavala Haila Titi Pujara Acharya. Some of them, they engaged in preparing the ingredients that were necessary for worship, while someone took the role of head pujari. Pujari Acharya. That's what they took. So we see each of them had taken many responsibilities of various positions as they were seeing it needed. Some people were taking care of garlands, some people they were doing chanting the names of Hari, some people they were blowing the conch shells, some people were ringing the bells, somebody had to take the job of a head pujari, and somebody they had to prepare the ingredients that are necessary for worship. Like this, we see so many of them are coming together, and we all saw in the beginning ingredients were coming from all directions, and we are also seeing at this point that each of them has taken many responsibilities and executing them in a very nice way. And we saw at this point, so there are so many people, each of them are having set of designated responsibilities, right? Now, ei mata parananda rasi bhakta ghana sabai korena karya yara yena mana. Being absorbed in the transcendental happiness, all the devotees are engaged in various activities according to what their heart desires. Isn't it a beautiful thing? You know, you have like-minded devotees here in their association, and you're trying to do whatever your heart is desiring. This is what is happening. So with this, I'm going to talk about a few things that are actually very important for us to know, because again, who's Madhavendra Puri? This is elaborately discussed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 4, right? When you all know Krishna Kutas Kaviraj Goswami, Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he describes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after he has taken sannyas, he went to the home of Advaita Acharya in Shantipur. And there it was decided, rather than going to Vrindavan, he would go to Nilachal or Jagannath Puri. Now, he took 4 of his associates and they all began to travel. And on the way, what happened was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was immersed in performing wonderful kirtans, and they were stopping at various holy places. And they came to a very important holy place, which is in Orissa. It is near the village of Belasu. It is called Remuna. And it was Remuna that the famous deity of Gopinath was residing within the temple. So they visited, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, obviously, when he saw this beautiful form of Gopal, he offered his prostrated obeisances in front of the Lord, and he offered his, he offered a helmet of flowers. Sorry, when he did this prostrated obeisances, sorry, what happened was there were flowers that fell from the deity of Gopal. It fell upon the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after this incident, what happened was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart, obviously it started, it was in that state of love, and he began dancing, he began performing this beautiful kirtan in transcendental ecstasy. When pujaris saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they felt like, oh my God, we've never seen such an ecstatic personality, such an transcendental personality. That's what they felt. they felt like, okay, we've never seen this kind of a beauty. What is this? He had amazing grace and he has all this ecstatic love for Lord, and then there were transformations that came out of his divine love. They saw that and they were feeling so happy to their heart's content. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he stayed there that night. And he was also very anxious to receive Mahaprasad there. Every day Gopinath was offered this earthen pot, free, the sweet rice. They would offer 12 earthen pots of sweet rice. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to taste them. So while they were waiting, he narrated to his devotees what he had heard from his spiritual master. And who is his spiritual master? Ishwarapuri. About Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. And he says about Madhavendra Puri that one time he traveled to Vrindavan and he came upon this Govardhan. And when he saw Govardhan, we may know it's not different than the body of Sri Krishna. So just looking at it, he was maddened in transcendental love. Sometimes he stood up, sometimes he fell down, and sometimes tears started pouring from his eyes. Madhavendra Puri's position is so special and his love was so unique in this world. Although we know the previous episodes or previous classes, we saw Madhavendra Puri appeared and he took initiation from Madhvacharya Sampradaya. And he understood the conjugal affairs of Radha and Krishna and the awakening of this conjugal ras within one's heart. It never appeared or it was never known until Madhavendra Puri revealed it to the world. This was never known to the world. So after circumambulating this Govardhan hill, Madhavendra Puri went where? He went to Govindakund. Fortunately, I was able to go visit Govindakund. And this is the place where Indra, after seeking shelter of Sri Krishna, he sent the Samvartaka clouds. Due to being humiliated by the Lord, his pride was smashed. In order to destroy all of Braj, he sent the Samvartaka clouds here. But Krishna, he effortlessly lifted this Govardhan hill with his little finger on his left hand and called all the cows, all the Brajavasis, while the thunder and rains were pouring down. And at last, Indra, seeing this small 7-year-old who was none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he came and begged for forgiveness. And in Govindakund is where Indra, he performed the Abhishek ceremony of Lord Krishna with the Surabhi. So this is Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri sat to take bath in Govindakund. After taking bath, he sat beneath the tree to take rest. And while he was sitting there, that's when he had the first darshan of Gopal, right? Cowherd boy came to him with a pot of milk and placed it before Madhavendra Puri. He said, please drink this milk. And then he said, why don't you beg some food to eat? And he asked Madhavendra Puri, what kind of meditation are you undergoing? And when he saw this boy, who's none other than Gopal, Madhavendra Puri was very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, everything he forgot. He forgot hunger, he forgot thirst. And he asked this boy, okay, who are you, boy? And where are you residing? And how do you know I am fasting? And this boy said, oh, you know what? I reside in this village. In my village, nobody is fasting, nobody fasts. They beg from people and they eat. Some people only drink milk. But if a person does not ask for any food, I supply them their eatables. So this, I must go to milk the cows, but I'll come back really soon and take this pot of milk from you. Like this, the boy said to this Madhavendra Puri. After that, he was no longer seen. And after drinking that pot of milk that the boy brought, he drank that and he put it aside. He was just looking, okay, when the boy is going to come. This was how he got the first darshan of Gopal. And then Gopal would appear on his dreams. And then he would perform installation ceremony of Gopal. That's when what would happen was villagers would all come. Uh, the Brajavasis, they all came together. Like all the villagers came together. They came with their wealth, they came with their foodstuff, they came with their jewelry, garments, simply offering all of them to Gopal, the deity, without even thinking about how they are going to survive if they are going to give everything away. I wish that heart. How am I going to survive? Krishna will take care. If that attitude is there within us, then our heart is as big as Brajavasi's heart are, right? Bhagavatam explains, if you water the root, then the whole tree is nourished. If you satisfy Krishna, there is nothing to fear. Krishna is the ultimate provider. Not even a blade of grass can move without Krishna's sanction. So that was the faith the Vrajavasis had. The faith that is required to actually attract the heart of Govinda. There's nothing to hold back. Everything is Krishna, so let's offer everything to Krishna. Krishna, it is said, okay, it is said that Krishna doesn't see how much you give him, but he sees how much you hold back. Oh my God, it's a very tricky situation. How much do I hold back? I hold back everything. Don't have that heart to give anything, right? That is where there is a big disconnect. The mood of the Brajavasis. Let's give everything to Gopal. Like this, Advaita Acharya, he was also performing the celebration where everybody gave their heart and soul, took responsibilities. Ingredients were coming from all directions. Like this, even during the installation ceremony of Gopal, with Madhvacharya's leadership or with Madhvacharya's, took that responsibility of leading. And all the Brajavasis, they came and they gave everything to Gopal. They were so happy. The only thing was they wanted to please Krishna. Morning, the cooking began, and 10 Brahmanas cooked the food grains. 5 Brahmanas cooked all the liquid vegetables. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he describes all the varieties of preparations were made. There were huge quantities of chapatis, there were huge quantities of ghee, there were vegetables, there were rice, there were dal. Like that, he couldn't describe even how much was there when it comes to preparations. Annakut ceremony was performed for Gopal, where they made big rice, big mountains of rice. And then there were all chapatis, rotis, vegetables, sweetmeats, and everything. Pot of yogurt, buttermilk, shrikand, sweet rice, cream. All they were placed on the sides of the vegetables. These were all performed by Madhavendra Puri, and he personally offered them to Gopal. Then they offered him scented water for drinking. And they were in the consciousness that Gopal has been very, very hungry for many days. So, dear devotees, this is the love we see, be it in any episode of any of Krishna's pastimes. The love was unconditional. There was no boundary. This is okay, let me stop. There's no stopping. It was endless, like how Advaita Acharya uh, had no time or restriction to that festival or the appearance day of Madhavendra Puri, like this. Even when they performed the Annakut ceremony for Gopal, the time was not there at all in picture. And heart was there to full extent, to manifest, to give everything to Krishna. So they all understood, okay, Madhavendra Puri, Brajavasis, poor Gopal, right? He was in heat and cold, in winds and rains. No one gave him food, no one gave him anything. So it is our duty that we have to satisfy him, we have to please him, give him everything we have. Give him enormous amount of prasad, enormous amount of scented water. It was all done with that consciousness that he is a person. He is the supreme person. He is the beloved in all of our hearts. He is the beloved in all of our lives. With that consciousness, they did that to please him. Now, like that, great souls like Madhavendra Puri, they are there by the mercy of Srimati Radharani, empowered with the spirit of hers in minute portions. So that's Radhika's love, how to please Krishna in a most personal and wonderful way. How Gopal ate everything that was offered. Mountains of food was offered, that was covered on the entire surface in the Govardhan hill. And Madhavendra Puri, by the transcendental vision, by the mercy of the Lord, was able to perceive how Gopal ate everything, yet allowed everything to remain as if it was Mahaprasad. And Kaviraj Goswami, he describes this wonderful facility before his festival that was held, and the way it was conducted, it was impossible to imitate. It is impossible to do. But by the inconceivable potency of Gopal, although no one could understand how this was done, it was done. So Krishna makes the impossible possible. That's what, at the end of the day, even when it comes to celebrating the appearance day, everything kind of, when it comes to portions, when it comes to size, it was unlimited. No one could understand how this all happened, but it happened. So if we have that heart's desire, then, in a very, if we have that staunch feeling, okay, I should do something for Krishna, his devotees, then opportunities will come and anything can happen. Impossible can possibly happen because of Krishna and Guru Maharaj's grace. So with this, dear devotees, we can end today's class. So as you all know, I probably did complete the verse that I completed for today is 456. So that's where we stop. For your next class, you can start from 457. Okay. So Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your time today, and I appreciate everybody who's here and taking time to listen to this class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Kasturi Mataji, what a beautiful class. 1 second. Sorry, Mataji, we are in the car. So, Kirtan was going on. Mataji, very, very beautiful class. So many lessons, how we should not be pride, how the service opportunity comes. Just we have to have determination. Service, humble services, so many lessons and so nicely narrated the past time, Mataji. Thank you so much. Very grateful to you and wonderful services you always provide for Bhakti Sangha.
No,
Thank you
Mataji,
so
it's
much,
all because of
Mataji.
you. Every time I do the service or I get the opportunity, I feel I have to be indebted to whatever I get. If I lose it, I think I made an aparadh. I feel so conscious about it. But anyways, thank you for always giving me the opportunity to serve the Lordships, Mataji. Hare
Thank you, Mataji, for posting recordings every day, and it's really helpful for everyone. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mataji, what a beautiful class. I really liked how you covered the case of Kalia and how his pride was vanquished, and also about Arjun's situation. That was interesting. And also, you covered the beautiful story of Madhavendra Puri. It was really very, very nice class, Mataji. Full justice. Thank you so much for giving us such a nice power pack class. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. I always look forward to hear from you. Okay, when will I get the opportunity to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? But thank you for always keeping me in your radar, so I'm able to serve Gauranga Mahaprabhu with my full heart and soul. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Janatram. Thank you so much,
Namaste.
Mataji. Very beautiful class. And this class was for me only, I can say that much. Mataji, you have said about submissive hearing. Mataji, my problem is like I'm hearing, but this I know this. I have heard this. It is so much deep rooted in me. When I hear any class, if I heard that before related to some topic, the thought comes, I know this topic already, and I become little inattentive. What can I do, Mataji, for that?
Yes, Prabhu. I mean, every time when we hear Krishna Katha, or even when we come to chanting, right? Every day we chant, we know the names of the Lord. If there is that feeling of okay, I know it or I hear it, then pray to Krishna sincerely, pray to Guru Maharaj that I know I don't know anything, because you are above everything. Krishna is transcendental. To understand him, you need, even Sesh says, I need hundreds and thousands of years. It's not just one time, right? It's when you look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he hears the pastimes of the Lord over and over again and again with many of his associates. How does that happen? How does that relishment comes? That relishment comes with taste. And when the taste is not there, we just cry, Prabhu. We just cry. We cry to our Guru Maharaj. We cry to Lord Krishna to give that mercy, so we are able to always relish Krishna Katha at all points in time. Even on the pastimes that we know, we think that we know one particular point. Say, for example, when I heard from His Grace Venugopal Prabhu, he talked about this point that, okay, what is Srimad Bhagavatam teaching you? Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching you uh, how to chant. How to chant is what Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching you. I felt that was such a new concept. How can Srimad Bhagavatam teach us how to chant? Then he told, oh yeah, you know what? All the offenses that we are talking about, how to avoid them. Each time when we hear a story of Srimad Bhagavatam that is telling us, oh, you know what, you are doing this kind of an offense, this kind of an offense. So nothing, when we chant, it's not the pure name of the Lord that is being chanted. So the day has to come when we chant purely. That is the day we will say, oh, you know what, I have that thirst for Krishna Katha. I want to hear more of Krishna Katha. I want to do this for Krishna all the time. That will happen with the time. But till the time when it's not happening, we sincerely pray to Guru Maharaj. We sincerely pray that I would love to hear Krishna Katha all the time, even those pastimes that I think I know. I know I don't know anything, but I think I know. Due to my uh, conditioning, I'm thinking like that, but that's not the case, right? Because there is so much to understand. So many acharyas have given so many realizations. To even miss a point, we might feel, oh my God, sometimes suddenly we'll wake up and say, oh, I really didn't know this, that was the case, right? Even with Kalia's pastimes, I never knew that Kalia heard submissively from his wives. I always knew, oh yeah, Nagapatnis, they did their prayers, and then he did. How did he get the realization from prayers? I really didn't understand that connect. So slowly, when we develop that patience, and when we keep on praying to Krishna and Guru Maharaj, that will happen over time, Prabhu. The day will come when our eyes are anointed with love. That time, we will be as hungry for Krishna Katha as Sukadeva Goswami was, where he never had any time-bound restrictions. He wants to hear over and over, right? That day will come.
Yes,
Hope that.
Mataji, thank you so much. And Mataji, what
Yes.
is, like you said, no, there is no difference between Madhavendra Puri and Advaita Prabhu. Like, can you say a little bit about that more? How there is no difference? Like, they are two different beings, I think.
When it comes to so this concept is specifically talked. Why? Because Advaita Acharya was always wanting to be in the mood of the servant, even though he was, even they're sort of like parallels, right? But Advaita Acharya, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya, what happened was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always treated Advaita Acharya as if he's the master, and with Advaita Acharya, he didn't want to be in that mood. He wanted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to call him as, accept him as the servant, but that was not the case, even though you understand, right? That was, and then with Madhavendra
Yes,
Puri also,
Mataji.
they could be considered parallels, but still Advaita Acharya wanted to be in the mood of the servant. That's why.
So,
So
Madhavendra Puri is Advaita Prabhu only.
no. Madhavendra Puri and Advaita Acharya are sort of like parallels in that way.
Okay.
But Advaita Acharya considered him to be, his master, and served him in the mood of disciple. From a spiritual standpoint, both of them, they were all elevated, and they were all, equal, sort of parallel, sort of. But still, Advaita Acharya stood in the mood of a servant.
Yes, Mataji,
Did
I
that
got it.
not it? Got it, or still not clear?
Little
What
bit,
did
sorry.
Preeti Mataji, would you be able to elaborate on this if you are here still?
Mataji, I think what you said is right, Mataji. Yeah.
I think
I
didn't
think you
put it in
described
that.
it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's what Prabhu with Advaita Acharya, he always wanted to be a menial servant for everybody. You know, with, as I said, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he considered him to be a master and he always respected Advaita Acharya. But Advaita Acharya will do everything to make him say, you know, you are my servant, sort of, but he will do all sort of, there are so many pastimes which sort of describes that. And here also with Madhavendra Puri's case, both were sort of parallels. Parallels means same, you know, with when it comes to spiritual standpoint, they were same, but still Advaita Acharya would consider himself to be a servant and serve in that mood to Madhavendra Puri.
Yes, ma. Thank you so much, Mataji. Now I understood. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
okay, wonderful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you again, dear Mataji, for such a beautiful class. We are very, very grateful for your association. So if there are no other questions, we can end the class here. Wish you all a happy holidays. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai,
Ki
Shla
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Her Grace
Ki jai.
Radhika Kasturi Mataji
Glories to the
ki
Jai.
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 Jai Shla Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
dear
Hari
Hare
Bol.
devotees.
Krishna,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Hare
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.